Alright, let's dive into a story that's been making waves recently. The case of Brittany Boltinhouse, the former Miss North Carolina USA 2026, who claims her title was ripped from her over her personal beliefs. Now, this isn't just a drama-filled pageant story. It's a fascinating intersection of identity, politics, and the pressures of public life. So let's break it down. First off, what makes this really interesting is the way Boltinhouse frames her situation. She's not just saying, "I was wronged." She's explicitly tying her removal to her conservative Christian views. Personally, I think this raises a deeper question. How much room is there for diverse beliefs in high-profile platforms like pageantry? It's easy to assume these organizations are apolitical, but this story suggests otherwise. In my opinion, the Miss USA organization's decision to strip her title, without publicly detailing the reasons, leaves a lot of room for speculation. Are they protecting their brand, or are they genuinely addressing problematic behavior? It's a fine line, and one that's hard to navigate. Now, Boltinhouse's perspective is crucial here. She describes herself as a proud member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a conservative woman, and a Trump supporter. What many people don't realize is how these identities can clash in spaces that claim to celebrate diversity. From my perspective, her story highlights the tension between personal beliefs and public expectations. She's essentially saying, "I won't compromise who I am," which is admirable, but it also puts her at odds with an organization that's increasingly under scrutiny for its values. One thing that immediately stands out is her refusal to discuss specific allegations, like the offensive social media posts that have surfaced. She brushes it off by saying, "Every teenager has made a mistake," which, honestly, feels like a missed opportunity. If you take a step back and think about it, this could have been a moment for her to address growth and accountability. Instead, she pivots to focus on her current character, which is a strategic move, but also feels a bit defensive. What this really suggests is that even in controversy, public figures often prioritize self-preservation over transparency. Another detail I find fascinating is how she frames losing her title as a blessing in disguise. She talks about being at peace and seeing it as a test of strength. Personally, I think this is her way of reclaiming the narrative, turning a public humiliation into a personal victory. It's a smart move, but it also raises questions about authenticity. Is she genuinely at peace, or is this a coping mechanism? Either way, it's a reminder that public scandals often have hidden emotional layers. Now, let's talk about the Miss USA organization's response. They've condemned racism, homophobia, and transphobia, which is a strong stance, but they haven't provided specifics about Boltinhouse's case. In my opinion, this lack of clarity does more harm than good. It leaves room for conspiracy theories and undermines their credibility. If they're truly committed to these values, why not be transparent? What this really suggests is that organizations often prioritize PR over accountability, which is a broader trend we see across industries. Finally, I want to touch on the bigger picture here. This story isn't just about one woman's title, it's about the pressures of living in the public eye. Boltinhouse's situation forces us to ask, can you hold controversial beliefs and still thrive in spaces like pageantry? Personally, I think the answer is complicated. On one hand, diversity of thought is important. On the other, some beliefs can cause real harm. This raises a deeper question. Where do we draw the line? And who gets to decide? So, here's my closing thought. Boltinhouse's story is a reminder that public platforms come with public scrutiny. Whether you agree with her beliefs or not, her situation challenges us to think critically about the intersection of identity, politics, and accountability. What do you think? Is this a case of unjustified cancellation, or a necessary consequence of holding problematic views? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear your take.